Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My very dear students, inshallah, this week our ayahs for our word to word lesson is going to be 24 to 26 of Surah An-Nisa, inshallah. So let's cover those ayahs in today's session. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي آمين يا رب العالمين اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما آمين يا رب العالمين. Okay, so inshallah, let's start with ayah number 24. So what are we learning in ayah number 24 is وَالْمُحْصَنَاتُ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ إِلَّا مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ. And you are going to notice this ayah number 24, is actually the continuation of ayah number 23. So what have been learning in ayah number 23 are the relations which are muhram, meaning haram for you, meaning you cannot marry them, right? So we had the long list of the relationships that might be due to blood or due to the suckling or due to the marriage. Now comes another category. So this one is also prohibited on you are the muhsanatu minan nisa'i. Muhsanat, the root letter hasana. Hasan is actually what is called the fortress. Okay, so this word muhsana is muhsanat is the plural and its singular is muhsana. I want you to look at this one. The muhsanat is the way that this word is used in Quran is can be in the different shades. So it can at one point it can refer to the Muslim women, or it can also refer to the married women. Yeah, so which are the mutazawwijat, zawj, right? So the mutazawwijat are the one who are the married, and then are the ones who are chaste women. So afaf, right? Afa, we learned the dua recently where we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for afafa, wal ghina, right? Allahumma inni as'aluka tuka wal huda, wal afafa wal ghina. So this is the chaste women. So sometimes you will see in the context of ayah, they may be used for the women who are chaste, may not be like married, just a chaste. Okay, and then also the word musanat is used for the free women, right? So harair, so the free women. So let's see what are we talking about here. As you are learning from the ayah that we are not supposed to, so the haram on you, meaning prohibited for you, are muhsanatu min nisai, from your women, meaning from the Muslim women. So as we covered, these are the free women, even if they're not married. But here we are talking about the married women, meaning a man cannot marry a woman who's already married. He cannot marry that woman and cannot even propose that woman if that woman is in iddah, right? We all know about this thing, but this is also prohibited. So married women from your women, they are prohibited on you, except ma malakat aymanukum, except the married women who are in your right hand, meaning your right hand possesses. Who are they? These women, the female slaves that you have. So the what who are prohibited for you are the married women from your community, but not the ones who are your free slaves, right? And this is the decree of Allah upon you. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has written for you. So this is the ordinance, meaning this is what this is a command for us. I want to take a time to little bit talk about this entity, ma malakat aymanukum. Really needs to go over this with a very open mind. The good thing is this is the concept, this is a phenomenon which is not applicable now, right? So if there are lots of questions about it and the controversies about it, it doesn't need that should not be the discussion. We really need to work on the concepts which are very clearly described. This is what used to happen in the Jahiliyyah time or after the Islam even. That was one of the thing that used to happen. So let's look at what are the different questions that your mind may have and should have about what is the female slaves? What about them? So the first question that was in my mind: how were these women taken as a slave in Islam? How did Islam got these, like Muslims, they used to get these women. So as opposed to what used to happen in Jahiliyyah, where they used to actually loot, or they used to, they can attack any home and they can get the women and they can keep them as captives. That is not what Islam, no, asked us to do. In Islam, the only way the Muslims used to have slave women were through war. So they used to be the war captives actually. Yeah. So these are the women who used to come with their men to sort of encourage them and to take part and to help them. So these are those women. So what if the woman is captured? So you have the women, the female slave is coming. What is next? Yeah. So what is next about them? So they are going to be given in the guardianship of the government actually. Yeah. So the government, there used to be a proper system for them. It is not like if you saw a woman during the war, you like it, and you're going to capture and then keep that woman for yourself. No, there used to be a system for that. And before that, I would like to take a time. Why are women captured? Because they are just imagine they are coming to sort of take part in that fitna, right? So they are actually coming to sort of destroy you. That was the intention. So now why are we capturing them so that they should not go back and spread the facade, and then they are going to have their generations, meaning they're going to give birth, and then all the kids are going to come back. So in order to reduce this corruption, they were kept as the female captives. Okay. So we talked about when captured, what happens to them next. There's a guardian. The government is going to decide who is going to get who. Sometimes this used to happen that the female captives were exchanged, meaning if you give us our captives back, we are going to give your women back. Yeah. So just like the male captives too. So they used to be exchanged before they were distributed among the soldiers. Okay. So there used to be a very neat system that used to take place for regarding these women. So what if the captured woman is already married? Yeah. So as soon as she's captured, her nikah with the previous non-Muslims, they used to get invalidated. So there was no nikah in place when they were captured. Okay. So they now you can marry them. Their nikah was voided. Okay. What options does the master of the guardian of slave women has? What they used to do with them? Is it like they used to just put them to work? No. There were few options they used to have. Either they used to marry them, or they used to actually give them in marriage to someone else, or they used to keep them for themselves, right? So there were few options. They could, meaning what I'm trying to tell you is there was the option of marrying them too. Okay. And again, what if they are left alone in the society? So say if you have the captive women, then you are going to tell them, okay, we're just going to keep you in Medina. Yeah, but you are not going to go anywhere. You are going to stay here in Medina only. So what can happen? So that just imagine if you have this kind of environment in your society where you have these non-Muslims women just roaming around, it's going to cause another fitna, meaning prostitution and zina and whatnot, meaning that can open doors to many other issues in the society. So what is the impact of giving them in guardianship of a particular person? What was what was the use of this? Why to do that? What benefit these women used to get? So subhanallah, they were protected. If one man was involved, like she has a female slave, then no other person can touch that female slave then. She was sort of a protected woman at that time. Yeah, she was given food, she was given shelter, and then also she was given the right to get herself free. Yeah, many times, and we have learned this from the Sira, like the prisoners they used to get themselves free, and one of the example of that is our mother of the believer, Subhanallah, Safiya radiallahu anha. Yeah, so the mother of the believer actually got herself free, and that was her mahar. Okay, so yes, so they can. There was also the responsibility. These women were also the responsibility of their guardians and or the masters, I should say. Yeah. Okay. What if the master marry her? Then she is a free woman. Then she is one of the muhsanat. Then she is not ma malakat aymanukum. Then she is a free woman. What if the woman has a child with that master? Then the woman is going to get free, and that child is going to get all the rights like the normal, or the I should say the other children of that man. Okay. So then these used to come into play. So yes, you can not marry the muhsanat from your women except what your right hand possesses, and that is who is giving you this allowance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that is kitabullahi alaykum, this is the decree of Allah upon you, meaning you are supposed to bring that to action. Okay, so then the next part of ayah is interesting, and it's saying wa uhilla lakum ma wara'a dhalikum, subhanallah, and allowed for you are everyone other than these ones. Okay, so they are allowed. So you can see the number of muhallat are way more than the number of muharramat. Okay, so other than these relations and these women, you can marry anyone, granted. The why and how, there is a condition here then. The condition is antabtahu, that you seek them bi amwalikum, with your wealth, meaning with your property, meaning give them their mahar. Muhsinina, while you are actually trying to achieve chastity. Your goal is not to get temporary enjoyment. Your goal is to get yourself settled and have the children and have a solid, like smooth household. That is your goal. You are going to not only bring her and then let her go. That is not the goal, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning us three things, two things, what we covered before. This one. Biambalikum, you have to give them their mahar, and your intention. So muhsinina, hasana, you are being chased. Yeah, so these are the men who are being chased. Goal is very clear. We want to get themselves settled, these girls with these slave women, and I have a good household. Okay, and Subhanahu wa ta'ala again mentioned the ghayra musafihin. That is not your goal. You are going to only get them just for the sexual pleasure. So look at the word musafihina, plural. Its singular is musafihun. Safaha is means to flow. Okay, and this, just imagine this thing. This is to just like you are getting a sexual pleasure. Only that you are just letting your fluid out. That is the only goal. You just only want to have that the temporary pleasure with these women. Okay, so your goal is very clear and the condition is very clear. You are going to take them into your nikah. If you are going your mind is very clear about the goal of this marriage, and you are also paying them for that. Okay, let's look at the next part. فَمَسْتَمْتَعْتُمْ بِهِ مِنْهُنَّ, and you enjoy them, right? So if you enjoy them, so let me just see, and yes, this one. So for whatever you enjoy of marriage for them, give them their due compensation. Again, what we are learning here is the biamwalikum, yeah, the part that we covered here. You are going to pay them their mahar. And again, the few names of, I should say, the few entities that are showing the mahar in the various places in Quran. You learn about sadaqah. It's also the mahar. This term refers to mahar in many places, based on the context, obviously. And then ajr, this one, ajurahunna, ajr, also is the mahar. Also, the other entity is farida. This is compulsory. It doesn't mean that if you are marrying a female slave, you are not going to pay them their ajr. You have to give it. Subhanallah, I was just thinking how important this is for us to be aware of this right of ours. Subhanallah, we are not that much aware of the importance of mahar. Meaning that when you are getting your kids married, this is something that you need to tell them, and tell them how important this is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala multiple times, like in Surah Nisa, you have learned many times that this entity is mentioned. Ajura hunna, sadaqa, like so many times Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned how important this is. Okay. Next part of ayah says, وَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي مَا تَرَاضَيْتُمْ بِهِ مِنْ بَعْدِ الْفَرِيضَةِ. And it is no blame upon you, meaning if you are no issue, there is not a sin upon you. Condition is تَرَاضَيْتُمْ, both of you mutually agree about it. Okay, so if your wife wants to let go of some part of mahar, then she should be agreed to that. It's not like you are forcing this on that person. No, if you mutually agree, then it's okay. The part of how much to mahar you guys decide between each other, and that is okay. But you, from your standpoint, you need to know that this is farida upon you. Okay, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ending this ayah by saying, Inna Allaha kana aliman hakim. Allah knows. And He is very wise. All the ahkamat, my dear sisters, whatever you got to know about in the previous ayahs, what are your muharramat? who is halal, who is haram, all these things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in not in only ayah number 24, also in ayah number 23, ayah number 22, meaning where the command was not to marry the wives of your fathers, right? So all those commands are with the wisdom. Whether you like it or not, that is one thing. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything. He knows our psychology. He every hukum, every command is there with an ultimate wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay. So let me see if I do. I just want to make sure that I did not miss anything. The lessons that we learned, the muharramat here are the mentioned are only the married women. Then we are learning that it is okay for the to marry the what your female slaves, and also the importance of carrying out this command because it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's obligation upon us. And then we learned about you need to give the mahar. And very important part of ayah that we are learning, you need to have a goal. And that needs to be very chaste. That needs to be very, very clear that you want to have a good society. You want to have the good people home that is women. Okay, let's inshallah look at what do we have in ayah number 25. Okay, so ayah number 25 is starting with وَمَنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ مِنْكُمْ طَوْلًا. So what is this thing? So whosoever among you cannot find the means to marry yankaha, that means to marry al-muhsinati al-muminati, meaning the free women. Now here are the free women, right? So as I mentioned to all of you earlier, the muhsanat is a different shades. In this ayah, the what you are learning from this ayah is that you are going to, if somebody does not have a mean to marry the free women, why cannot somebody have a mean to marry? Because they may be financially not solid. They may not be able to afford the mahar, or they may not be able to afford the daily life. They cannot give the nafaka, or they cannot take care of the family. So in that case, what are we supposed to do? So before that, again, muhsanat, al-muminat, you're learning how chastity is mentioned here, how iman is mentioned here. And the word tawlan, look at this word tawlan. This word is from the root letter ta, waw, and lam. Tawl is your means to get to something. Okay, so if somebody does not have that, then what they can do? They are فَمِمَّا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ. Then they can marry from their female slaves. مِنْ فَتَيَاتِكُمُ الْمُؤْمِنَاتِ. From your female slave, fatayatikum is a female slave, and the female slaves has to be mu'mina. There has to be, the shart is iman. Not only the female slave with any from any religion, no, she should be a woman. So what we are learning from this part of the ayah is, so if you cannot marry the free women, because obviously they have some rights, yeah, so they need a proper mahar, then their option is given. So then you can go, and the second option for you is you can marry the women from the female slaves from the who are the mu'minat. Okay, let's look at this word, beautiful word, fatayatikum. The fatayat is from fatah. This is a young woman or young girl who's responsible. And this woman this is a name given to these particular female slaves out of honor. Look at the honor that these slave women are getting. Fataya, or Fataya is somebody who is, who's very, who's honorable, who's, who's responsible. So here they are mentioned as Fatayatikum. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving them the honor that yes, you can marry your female slaves. Wallahu alamu bi imanikum. So we are going to remember, before I go to the next part, again, we are going to remind ourselves, you have to fulfill the conditions. I'm so sorry, I'm just stammering on that. Fulfill the conditions. What is that? You have to give the mahar, and you need to have a solid plan, meaning the niyyah intention should be good, right? So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Wallahu alamu bi imanikum. And I would like to take a pause here and talk about this beautiful hadith. Look at this hadith, how Allah subhanahu Prophet peace be upon him is mentioning, do not refer to anyone as my slave. Yeah, so just imagine. So do not call لا يقولن أحدكم عبدي فكلكم عبيد الله. All of you are slaves of Allah. So don't call anyone your slave. Rather, how to say, how to address them? Rather, you should refer to them as my young man, Fataya. But say them Fataya. It's always good to use good words, yeah. So what a beautiful word this is as compared to saying abd, yeah, my slave, right? So then the next part of the verse is sorry, the hadith is saying the servant should not be referred to anyone as my lord, meaning that your slave should not be saying you this is my sort of my Rabb, right? So Rabbi, no, that they should be saying, rather they should refer to him as my master, my Sayyidi, yeah, Sayyidi. So this is how the these people around us should be addressed, meaning how we need to respect this relation. We are learning from this, subhanallah. It's very important how you address your servants, how you address your subordinates. We need to learn, right? So we need to be very careful about our word choices about them. Instead of saying them, my servant is coming, if we can use the word, my helper is coming. That looks and sounds very neat. So inshallah, we are going to keep, keep reminding ourselves about the words of, good words about all the people around us. And then this is also a very important thing. Wallahu alamu bi imanikum. So let's focus on this one and take a seat back and then think. So you are now learning here that you are going to have the female slaves. So just imagine your son is marrying non-Muslim women. Yeah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in this ayah about Iman, Allah knows. Allah is most knowing of their iman, of your iman. Meaning Allah knows where are you coming from. So if you have, just imagine, if you have this scenario in your life that your daughter-in-law is actually from Christian family, so then you and they converted. Just imagine they converted to Islam, and you cannot doubt or cannot judge their iman. And this is what we love to do, right? You have seen that. You know, want to learn about that, right? All the time, if such marriage happens, in our mind, the question we have a list of questions. How are they praying? What they used to do in the past? How can they carry out? What would they do on Eid? Are they fasting? How can they fast? How are the things? What kind of food do they eat? Did they did they use alcohol in the past? We That is none of our business, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us, you know what? You cannot judge anyone. That is very superficial thing what you are looking. Allah knows what's going on in your heart. And again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reinforcing it and trying to remind us again, Ba'dukum min ba'd. You are same. It doesn't matter if your complexion is fair. And if you're looking for, just imagine you are looking for your brother, brother Rishta, right? You're looking for your brother's like somebody for match for your brother. I know you're looking at the tallest girl, the prettiest one, the fairest one. She should be a physician. You have a list of things, right? When we are all stuck in this thing, and this can be different in the different sort of and different according to culture. The questions can be little different, but this is we need to come out of this one of the superficial things and focus on the iman, focus on how that person is in terms of their level of iman, because that is what is going to benefit you in the long run, not their beauty, because they're going to get old and all that stuff. Anything can change anytime. So yes. So then we are lending. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is here, is commanding us, giving the command, meaning there is an option here. So then what is next coming? So فَانْكِحُوهُنَّ, so you can, you marry them, or you can have nikah with them, بِإِذْنِ أَهْلِهِنَّ, with the permission of their ahl, right? So it's not like you are going to spot a woman, female slave, and you want to marry them. Or that woman is like, she's a momina but she's a female slave. You cannot do that. You have to go through the proper channel. You need to remind yourselves that his wali is going to be his master, right? And here you are seeing the word ahli hinna. Ahl, as we know, is the proper, this is a word for your relations, meaning your family, right? For the female slaves, that the guardian is actually the wali, right? So that person is the ahl. So you have to take his permission, not just randomly. spot on the women. Okay. And then comes your a very important part, that these are again the, oh yes, I reminded you earlier too, that you not only that you got to have a permission, وَآتُوهُنَّ أُجُورَهُنَّ bil So you need to give them their ajr, again, ajr, meaning their mahar, bil maruf, in a proper way, meaning according to your, um, if according to your istatat, meaning how much you can afford, you should give them according to that. Not that because she's a female slave, so you can do maybe like way less what you did with your earlier wife, or but is not known in the society. Very, very few things. No, you need to go and do this, give this mahar according to your all your abilities, right? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now mentioning muhsanati. Now these women, so you marry them, giving them their sorry, after permission from their ahl, and you are giving them their ajr, not only ajr, give them the ajr, but that needs to be bil maruf, it should be recognized good in the society for that culture, for that time, it should be very appropriate. Then these women, muhsanatin, these women should be muhsanatin, these women should remain chaste. Yeah, so these women should remain chaste now. غَيْرَ مُصَافِحَاتٍ, not the ones who are just in the relationship for just for fun. وَلَا مُتَّخِذَاتِ أَخْدَانٍ. أَخَذَ مُتَّخِذَاتٍ. مُتَّخِذَة is the singular, and this is the one who take. أخدان, khidn. Khidn is somebody that is a secret partner. Okay, so this is to have a secret partner, illicit partner, meaning the lovers or the person you are in live-in relationship without any proper, nikah. These women should not be like them. Okay, so they should be muhsanat, and they should not be ghaira musafia. They should not be like that, or the takers of the secret boyfriends. And subhanallah, are we getting the message from here? Can we have a boyfriend in Islam? No, we cannot. We are learning from these ayahs up here that with the Muslim women. Now you are Muslim women. We are talking about the slaves here. Yeah. So I'm gonna take a step back. Just imagine, my dear students, that whenever the based on the culture you are in, based on the your circumstances, your level of how much religion is being followed in your home, you will notice your thresholds are very different from many other people. Yeah. So say sometimes if there are the women who the whole household does full niqab. Yeah, they do the full niqab. There is hijab, there are hijabi niqabis, and these women are asked to go somewhere without niqab. Yeah, so there's going to be a level of discomfort, meaning the level of haya is different from the other women who do not take hijab, right? And this not, I'm not saying that they're good or bad, and I'm not saying that in terms of the righteousness. Allah knows that thing. Allah knows. But what I'm trying to, my point is, your level of haya is different. Yeah. So say if you have a 6-year-old daughter, and you always make sure that she wears full sleeves and she wears pants with her frocks and all that stuff, and then you let this child go out and then in the sleeveless dress, she is going to be uncomfortable, right? Because she's not used to do that. Same thing happens, my dear sisters, with these female slaves. It's not that they are bad, or if they're involved in prostitution, they're like, so they are. You cannot blame. They should not be blamed. Like, only they should not be blamed. Yes, we need to have this like this zan in our mind that this is how the norms are for them, meaning they are easy to slip, they are exposed to many men, so it's easy for them to commit sin as compared to the Muslim women. And then we should now be very careful about it, that our bar is high. Yeah, so these women, the just giving an example of our society, what's going on. So these women are different. Yeah, so just imagine if you are seeing a case where one of the prostitutes actually is getting into the relationship with a man through nikah, and this is very good. So my dear sister, her level is different because her circumstances have been different. She is raised differently, right, as compared to you. So we need to keep that in mind. The people are different. Okay. And keeping that in mind, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning فَإِذَا أُحْصِنَّ. So if you marry them, like meaning if they are taken in marriage, or meaning they are taken in nikah, فَإِنْ أَتَيْنَا, and if they commit بِفَاحِشَةٍ, if these women, they commit fahisha, right? So fahisha means, we talked about it, usually here it means zina, right? And fahisha can also have different shades, but here it means zina. Keep in mind, bad words are also fahisha, stealing is also fahisha, backbiting is also fahisha. So lots of meanings to fahisha here. If they commit zina, so what is what is the had on them? فَعَلَيْهِنَّ, then upon them is nisfu ma, half of what alal muhsinati, is upon the Muslim women, right? So again, فَعَلَيْهِنَّ نِصْفُ مَا عَلَى الْمُحْصِنَاتِ مِنَ الْعَذَابِ. From the punishment, these women, these slave women who used to be maybe involved in prostitution, they may have different, relationship with the different men. So these women, they are going to be getting half the punishment. And the reason why so, we just talked about it. They're easy to slip. Yeah. So they are a little different. So they can commit sin easily. So keeping that, and look at how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows us so much. Subhan, it's so amazing. So amazing. Like, he's not giving the equal punishment. Though they are in nikah, so we'll think, no, they should be punished equally. No, no, that is not the case, because he knew, Allah knows that their circumstances have been different. They have been through different experiences in their life as compared to you, where you're all protected, right? Your mom has always been with you. The driver, even with the driver, you are sending your kids, you're going and you're dropping the kids, you're picking the kids. You're all the time with your daughter. And then if this daughter is going to commit a sin, then there's a big thing, because she has a different type of protection around her than these women. So again, these women are going to get half the punishment. So again, I'm going to tell you the punishment for, we talked about it earlier too. So for the fornicators, the punishment is 100 lashes. Remember, for the married. Okay, so for the married women and the men, the punishment is stoning to death, right? Stoning to death. For the unmarried, 100 lashes, right? So here, if they are not married, so I'm just saying, just imagine they are not married and they commit the sin, the female slaves are committing the sin, so then they're going to get 50 lashes. And even if they are married, then they're also going to get, you cannot half the punishment, right? So in that case, again, 50 lashes, or the government is going to decide about how much punishment they are going to be getting. But there is no set number of lashes for them in that case. Okay, so keep in mind, or what we need to keep in mind is their punishment is half, because the expectation of staying righteous, staying, the pious, that is little less for them because of their circumstances. Okay. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala next mentions, so these marrying the female slaves, Zalika, what is being mentioned in the earlier part of the ayah, this part up here, Zalika is for the one, khashiyal anata minkum. Whosoever, anata is the burden that can make you, that can make you sin. Okay, so if this is for the one who is afraid of doing a sin from you all, meaning from the mu'mineen. If you are afraid that you can commit a sin, only then go for the second option. Keep that in mind, my dear sisters. This is very important. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yes, here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the second option, but seems like here the option is given only to the one, yeah? So the option is given to the one who is afraid of committing a sin. وَأَن تَصْبِرُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. And if you are being patient, it is good for you. So what we are learning here is, yes, you have an option, but if you are patient, and this is better for you. So what are we learning from this part of ayah is, it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is encouraging us, stay chaste, but if you cannot do that, then go for this. Meaning encouraging the marriage with the female slave too, based on our circumstances, right? So I want to give you some examples here. Have you noticed our comments, our judgment about the women who are married to men 10 years older than them? How many comments do we have? Lots and lots, right? Cultural differences. We are just stuck, as I mentioned earlier, we're just stuck with very superficial things. literally we are in our mind, we put Iman to one side, to sort of, we are saying to hell with Iman. We are gonna look at the other things. Status matter. If your in sister-in-law is not from a rich family, you will have some reservations about it. If she is not, if you are all physicians, and God forbid, and that poor person is not from a medicine, oh my God, we have a different, we'll make sure that we remind that poor person how intelligent we are, though maybe she's more intelligent than us. These are all the examples that you may encounter in your real life. Yes, okay. Then comes your, okay, the country. From Pakistan, is she has to be from the Pakistan, or India, or from the developing world versus the developed one, meaning you do not want to get a daughter-in-law from the other than America. And these are the common examples that we see, we encounter, and we whenever we are looking at who to marry, like about the match, this matrimonial ceremonies, all that stuff. This is what we do there. We are looking for somebody who can match us. And I'm not saying this is not right. I'm not saying that. That should not be the only thing, right? So we need to keep everything in mind, especially Iman should come first, and then comes all these things. And then as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows us, we are not going to leave this poor person alone. We are going to give it a lot of comments on this person, a lot of talking about the past of this person, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning, if you are being patient, it's better for you. And it's always, always encouraged to marry from your own status, meaning it's going to be a little more healthier. Yeah, the negativity would be less. Though we have seen in the past, there are the marriages between the free women and the slaves. The one of them is the Zainab bin Jahash, right? So that one, we have learned that that can happen. It's not that they cannot happen, but encourage what is encouraged is to marry in the same status, so that the less negativity, and you are easy to go together. Yeah, there needs to be compatibility. It is easy to be to have a good relation in that case, though it may not work every time. The same status, same professions, it is all about the attitude that we have in this relationship. To be very honest, if you have the same, your sister, your cousin is becoming your sister-in-law, the family, she's very good, she has all the things that you want, but again, this may not work because of many, many other issues that can happen. And Allah is forgiving and merciful. Allah knows if there is anything that is going on in your mind in terms of judging them. Allah is all forgiving and all merciful. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yes, before I go to the next ayah, I want to go over this beautiful hadith that tells us three types of people who are going to get double reward in Jannah. Okay, so double reward in Jannah. Let's listen and very carefully see if you can be one of them. Okay, a man from the people of the book who believed in his prophet and then believed in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right. So the Christian, we have the multiple examples. Waraka bin Nawfal, one of the beautiful example. So the man from the people of book believed in his prophet and then believed in our prophet, and then a slave who fulfilled his duties towards Allah, a slave who fulfilled his duties towards Allah, and not only that, also towards his masters. Meaning the person who is very responsible about his carrying out his task, is very committed. Yeah. And then a man who has a female slave. Look at this one. A man who has a female slave, and he taught her good manners, educated her well, then freed her and married her. He will receive a double reward. Now we don't have slavery, so uh, we need to find out other ways to get to this double reward. Yeah, and that can be if you are married to somebody lower status in terms of wealth, in terms of the mental abilities. You need to calm yourself down and make sure that we are enforcing, and we are trying to get the best out of that person. Yeah, and then maybe we can get the double reward. Keep this in mind, okay, my dear sisters. Keep this in mind that I want to have a double reward. I want to have the first thing, I want to go to Jannah. And then if I'm going to Jannah, I'm going to get the double. Seriously. So we need to be careful about this thing, okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in the Surah Nisa, Surah of women, Surah of Adl, Surah of Rahmah. Keep these names in the mind. In Allah Kana alaykum raqiba. Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Raqib. He's all watching. You are going through the different names. He's Ghafur, he is Rahim, he is Alim, he is Hakim. These are coming back and forth to remind us. The surah is about, just imagine this thing, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is protecting these female slaves, meaning the weak member of society. Yeah? Okay, inshallah, learn what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling us in ayah number 26. Allah wants, yuridullahu. Rawada, root letter, yuridullah, Allah desires, Allah wishes. What does He wish? لِيُبَيِّنَ lakum. He clarifies for you. Yeah, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is clarifying for us by giving all these commands. There is a reason for these commands. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to tell us what is haram, what is halal. And also, this is one thing to make it clarify, meaning he is showing you what is, like, how to, where to put the things. And then yahdiyakum, he wants to guide you. Okay, so not only you know the things, also how to work on these, how to implement on these. This is what the goal is. وَيَهْدِيَكُمْ سُنَنَ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ. About يَهْدِيَكُمْ سُنَنَ الَّذِينَ, sunnah, the tariqa, yeah. So the customs, yeah. So he wants to guide us to the sunnah of the people before us, and he wants to forgive us. So again, Allah wants to make clear to you the lawful from the unlawful and guide you to the good practices of those before you and to accept your repentance. Allah is knowing and wise. And what are we learning here? We do not need to use our brain cells when we are going over lots of ahkamat and what is halal, what is haram, what to give, when to give, how to give, and why are we giving them when to give, and all these things are there with the ultimate wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among the ones who are not only learning the word to word, also the ones who are applying it. This ayah it's telling me, the ayah is directly talking to you. So we are not going to prefer our logic over Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's legislation. And this is again the mistake that Iblis made. Remind yourself. This is what he also thought, that I know more than you, right? Not the exact words, but this is what he meant. Okay, so we are going to end our session here. Inshallah, I will be coming again, inshallah, with the next ayah. Let's end our session here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Nashhadu la ilaha illa ant. Nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my very dear sisters. Allah Hafiz.